Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is looking into a bit of information I stumbled upon, which appears to show a missing 500,000 foreign students who have came to the United Kingdom. Now, this story, I started off by listening to GB News this morning, where one of the things it discussed was that 16,000 students here, foreign study student visas, had decided at the end of their terms that they had to apply for immigration. I thought, well, that's a bit weird. Why would you need to come to the UK for about 3 years? Let's say the average term of or length of a study to get a degree is 3 years. Some will be 2, loads will be 4, some will be 5. So let's just say 3 years is the average. So why do these people come here for 3 years and not claim asylum, and suddenly, when their visa's up for their study visa, suddenly have to apply for asylum? I wonder what's changed while they've been here in their country that makes it unsafe for them. So while I was starting to investigate that information, I actually stumbled on some more information, which is absolutely bonkers, because this information has came straight from the House of Commons library. And let me just share with you what I found when I was looking at the House of Commons library. This International Students in the UK in Higher Education report that was only published on the 27th of June. And one of the most startling things that I'll need to do some more investigation on, and this isn't the thing I want to talk about, this was just another thing that came to me while doing this. The government actually met its 2030 international student recruitment target of 600,000 10 years early, and numbers have continued to increase since 2020. So the government, at some point in the past, which I can't find just now, but I will find out, it'll be there somewhere, had set this target of not only 600,000, but a monetary target of bringing in £35 million worth of fees to these foreign students. And we hammered it. We beat it 10 years early. We got the target at 600,000 in the year 2020. We're a target of 2030. So one thing we're very, very good at, apparently, is bringing people into this country. We can smash those targets, right? And I don't think it was started in 2017, but that's kind of the only date I can find just now. But I will find out later on the date that this started. But if we set this target in 2017 and smashed it in 2030, the 3 years when we originally had a 13-year target, that would prove something that I've been saying for a long time, that we are very, very good at attracting people to this country, whether we want them or not, right? And the target of £35 billion of money coming in has been smashed as well, because we're currently bringing in between 40 and 45 billion pounds per year from these foreign students. So again, it goes along with my thoughts over the last year, where all we're doing is creating this massive industry of immigration. And previously, when I've been talking about this, I've been mentioning the hotels, the lawyers, the interpreters, the people who even supply furniture to these people once they go into the social housing ladder. So there's all these facets of this industry which are making billions of pounds, and I've now just learned about another. I've just realised there's another, and it's called education. So there's now all these people making even more money out of immigration, and more reasons why it's difficult to stop immigration, because so many people are making so much money. We're now a massive funder. About 30% of our income for our further education, universities, etc., comes from the industry of immigration. But that's not the thing I was wanting to talk to you about. It's even more bizarre than that. This report tells us some fascinating things, and only the first 2 chapters of it. The first thing it tells us that in 23/24, there were 732,000 overseas students studying in the UK at UK higher education providers, or 23% of our total student population. So at that precise moment in time, there was approximately 750,000 foreign students in our establishments, our colleges and universities and alike. And I thought that was high, but that's still not the thing I wanted to talk to you about. When you go to the second chapter here, it tells you quite clearly that starts off with something that's relevant. 2017-18, the number of new overseas entrants to UK universities was around 250,000. Increased over the following 5 years, saw the numbers reach a record of 459,000, almost 500,000 in 2022/23. It fell slightly to 428,000 in 23/24. So if you consider that for a minute, that would mean over a 3-year cycle, 21/22, 22/23 and 23/24. I don't have the figure handy for 21/22, but I think it's fair to assume it would be about 400,000. Even if it was slightly less, if it was an average of 400,000 over the 3 years, that is 1.2 million have come into the country, overseas entrants to university. That's coming in year one. We have had 1.2 million over a 3-year cycle. But on the third year, 23/24, we only had 700,000 of them at our universities and colleges, etc. And that's the bit that blew my mind. Because if you think about this logically, where is the 500,000 others gone? Because the average will be 3 years. There'll be some that will be 4 and 5 years, and there'll be some that will be 2-year courses. So let's just take 3 years as, not even 3.5, if we were wanting to use like a mean average. Let's take 3 as the average. Where have the 500,000 students gone? Because we've brought in 1.2 million minimum. That's guessing the first year quite low, right? In the 3-year cycle. And we only had 700,000 of them studying in 2023. Now, the other problem is this 16,000 that GB News talk about who were looking for asylum at the end of their course, and the 500,000 that I'm thinking, where are they? The true number is neither of these, because it's only very recently that we've curbed the ability of people coming here with a student visa to actually bring their dependents and family, etc., with them. So it won't be one visa, one person. The 16,000 that GB News were talking about that were claiming asylum, they would have some of them, if not all of them, with dependents with them. And how many? I don't know. But it won't be 16,000. And this missing 500,000, who just seem to have disappeared off the figures, would have other people with them on their visa, because they came in before we changed the rules. And even when we changed the rules, it wasn't just one person rule. There were quite a lot of courses that even now you can bring multiple people with you on a student visa. Now, am I going daft? I had to phone friends of mine and talk them through these figures and say to them, am I wrong? But let's just, for the sake of my sanity, go over the key figures once more. So, there we go. I've highlighted it for you. In 2023-24, it was 732,000 students, overseas students, studying at UK higher education providers. There it's in black and white. But new overseas entrants to the UK's, right, for the second and third year on a 3-year cycle, were in excess of 400,000. So even if it was 300 and something thousand in the first year, we're still at 1.2 million. have came into the country to study, but there's only 700,000 here when we took a snapshot at the end of the 23-24 season. And that blows my mind. And the other stat that isn't on here, yeah, sorry, this gives you an indication rather than the actual figures, right? When you look here at the chunk of the foreign students, the non-EU ones, is increasing all the time. And then the EU ones has fallen as we go on. So these people coming here, only Belgium and French and Germans and Poles, they're non-EU. And yeah, there'll be a big chunk will be Indian and Chinese. That's probably where the majority are. But we'll have other people from all over Africa and subcontinent. And I was talking to somebody about it today, throwing this idea at them, and enlightened me a story that a very unusual high figure of Uber drivers in Glasgow alone, when you start talking to them, say they're here to study law. You're like, all right. And the next time that happens to you, throw in a really stupid question and just say to them, don't you find it unusual that in Scotland we only have 5 jurors in a jury? And watch how many of them agree with you, which is obviously a complete made-up figure. Because we don't, right? But this has got me thinking now. My head is absolutely spinning. And it's taken me hours to do this video because I was like, I can't be right here. There can't be a missing 500,000 students. But that's the government's figures, not mine. We've brought in 1.2 million in 3 years. And at the end of that 3-year cycle, we only had 700,000 still here studying. Did they go home? Are they still here? Are they coming in and getting into the country and just taking us for everything they can once they're here and actually no studying at all and have no intentions of studying? That's my fear. So if you've got any comments or any stuff about this, pop it in the comments below. Get in touch with me because I really want to look into this in even more depth going forward. This is my new Melt My Head project. And if you enjoyed this video and you enjoy the types of video I do, click the like, click in the comments and put some comments below and click the share button. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. And thank you very much for everybody who is a member of the channel and those who have been donating through Buy Me a Coffee, which is now fully covered my trip that I went to on asylum seeker hunt over to Lesbos. It blew my mind, and thank you very much. And I've now already got a bank for my next adventure and seek the truth on the migrants into Europe. So stay tuned. So unless you're the type of person that comes here with no intentions of coming here legally, just bending all the rules to suit yourself, or all these people who are making billions, hundreds of billions of pounds a year off our immigration issues and the science fake asylum seekers, then not you. But everyone else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.